What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice here, and I was speaking to Dan, MrSmelly1977. We're working on a collab together, and we were speaking. I was like, listen, if you want to plug Gravitas, don't worry about it, that's fine. I know that you've worked very hard on it. And he said, well, do you want me to... do you want me to send it to you? Do you want me to send you a sample? And I was like... yeah, I'd love for you to send a sample. I'm actually very excited for it because I feel as though I know kind of what it's going to be about, or the sort of the tone. So you're about to see my first live impressions of it. I have not, I have opened it and I've had a look, but as soon as I saw this, then the game was sort of up of who it was. Yeah, so he sent me this, and he sent me a little picture of himself. If you can get that. Come on, autofocus, mate. No, it's not playing. So, he sent me a little letter here. Dear George, I really hope that you like the fragrance. Best wishes, Dan. Looking forward to collaborating on your video too. What a sweet man. But I do want to mention that is absolutely lovely and wonderful, but if I do not like it and I think that it sucks, I will have absolutely no problem and no issue with tearing it limb from limb in front of the audience right now in the most sociopathic way that I could think of, because that's how I am. So, although it's very lovely and we are going to be working on, well, we might not be after this video, I don't know, but if we are, doing all this together, then yeah, if I don't like it, then I'm just going to say, because that's what you want to know. So I have a prediction in my mind. Oh, here it is, by the way. I've got the Gravitas. Look at that autofocus. People said to me, oh, so the Lumixes are really good for autofocus. Just look at that autofocus quality right there. So yeah, I might take a cutaway or something. My prediction of this is that it's going to be a very classy kind of fragrance, similar to the ilk of like Eau de Sauvage, by Christian Dior, not Sauvage, Eau de Sauvage, Bois de Portugal, things of that nature. So I'm going to put it on, and I'm quite excited. I've got a little bit of a whiff of it, kind of, and it's kind of, I kind of get a little bit of the gist of it, but I haven't actually sprayed it, so here we go. Why don't you actually spray it on your skin this time? That? Bloody hell. What does that remind me of? It is pretty much exactly, well, not exactly how I imagined it, but it's very similar. There's so many different things that I can get from it. It's very much the style of like a woody citrus chypre or whatever it would be. It's the old school fragrance that you know and that you love and that you've smelt before many times. But I've got to say that there's a few things that I like. So it's definitely influenced by such things as Bois de Portugal, definitely influenced by things like Eau de Sauvage. I even get a little bit of Creed Viking in here as well. But there's the old school Acqua di Parmas. There's a very old school 1920s, 1930s. It's pretty much all the iconography that you see in Mr. Smelly's videos, in Dan's videos, where you've got the ballroom or the black and white, pictures of, I don't know, film stars or celebrities at the time of that era, where they're all very dolled up, where they all are dressed very, wonderfully and beautifully, and they've got the suits and they've got the tuxedos, and all of that kind of style of look. It really is that, but within a smell. And this is something that would have not gone... This is something that if you'd have released it in the 1940s and the 1950s, it just wouldn't have even gone amiss. But with having said that, it's not as harsh as those types of fragrances. Bois de Portugal has got a really harsh oak, mossy, musky, woody tone to it. And Eau de Sauvage and Eau de Rochas and all those kinds of fragrances, they have a really harsh, brisk neroli that's sort of cutting at you like shards of glass. I have to respray it again. This doesn't have that. This does not have that. This is actually a lot more... This is a lot more balanced, and there's been a lot of... there's been a lot of attention on the blending. The blending here is absolutely, like, miraculous. Really quite stunning, because it's just all sort of... I know that there's neroli in there, but it's all, you know, blended really, really well and painted perfectly. So that's really quite something. To me, this is kind of like a tribute to... I know that it's Dan. I just completely know that it's Dan, and it's influenced by all of the types of fragrances that Dan has ever talked about, ever, or, you know, any of his lists, and it is of that ilk. So it's kind of like a tribute to that, and it's a tribute to, if I may be so bold, it's a tribute to his fans. Because one of the great and fun things about being a fragrance reviewer is that we have a style, we have a taste. Dan's taste is very, very specific. And so what will happen is that, you know, some people will watch Dan because he's funny and he's humorous, and which he is, and he's brilliant. And I love Dan because of the intros and things like that. And although this kind of style of fragrance isn't necessarily something I actively reach out for, it's something that I do enjoy, because I think that if you grow up in England, or if you grow up in Britain, this style of fragrance is something that you come across a lot. You know, your dad wore it, you know, your uncle wore it, all these different older guys have worn it, and it's a fragrance that's very, very familiar, and a scent style and a scent DNA that's incredibly abundant in this country. So anyway, you'll have loads of people who will gravitate towards Dan and his style, and so he wanted to probably make something that was kind of a culmination of all of those fragrances put together, and that is this. It's I guess another thing is it has a little bit of a barbershop thing going on as well. I get a little bit of Rive Gauche as well. I get a little bit of Kouros, you know, slightly, you know, not huge amount, but that kind of barbershop fresh neroli style. It's great. It's all of those kinds of ideas modernized and put into a grander and wider context. So if you are a fan of MrSmelly1977, this is completely going to work out for you in pretty much every single way. You're really going to enjoy it. I look forward to wearing it, actually. I think that if I wouldn't even mind like a full bottle of this. I'd buy it. I'd want to support Dan and everything, and I know that he is literally just starting out, so yeah, I'd probably buy this. But I really like it. I really like it, and I'm going to say this actually, and this is how I truly feel about this, which is, if this had been any less than what it is, which is amazing, it's completely like a bullseye, it's a home run, it's literally, he had an idea, he wanted to create this scent, and he did it. If it had been any less than top quality and top notch, I would have probably said something and I would have complained. But as soon as you spray it on, you're like, oh right, yeah, you've got it. You know what I mean? Like, he's done it. He's done exactly what he said he was going to do, and it's brilliant. It's well composed. On the technical level, this is very beautiful. It's there's some outstanding perfumery here. What's the guy's name? This guy's very talented. And he's from the Cotswolds. Of course he's from the Cotswolds. Only somebody from the Cotswolds could make something like this, Dan. Yeah, John Stephen. Yeah, it really is that Cotswolds, like, you know, very posh, upper class, Southern England style of smell. Yeah, there's a lot of class, there's a lot of regalness. There's a real beauty in this fragrance. It's something I'd wear. It's something I'd really enjoy, and it would be something I'd wear probably if I was going to an event in summer, if I was going to a tea party, if I was going to a very high class posh event, which of course I'm invited to all the time. But yeah, it's great, it's brilliant, and I'm just going to reiterate, if you are a fan of Dan, if you are a fan of MrSmelly1977, this is something that you will immediately understand. It's something that you will immediately resonate with. It's something that you'll immediately get, oh right, this is for us guys. So it's great. I really like the logo as well and everything that comes with it. It's very well done. I'm just going to see if I can find any of the notes here. And then, yeah. So what we got in here, we've got bergamot, mandarin, lavender. Yes, I can get that. Coriander, cardamom, pepper, patchouli, oak moss, ambergris, vanilla. It's everything that you'd want out of... That's a killer note breakdown, actually. That's a freaking solid note breakdown. But yeah, it's just phenomenal and great. So I'm intrigued to see what the projection longevity is. I should probably do like a review or whatever when I get a full bottle of it. But I had in mind what it was going to be, and you've hit the nail on the head, Mr. Smelly. Thank you. And I look forward to our collaboration as well, which is going to be just phenomenal. It's long time. It's about time that me and you did something together. So thanks very much, Dan, and thanks very much to everybody watching. Those were my thoughts on GRAVITAS Pour Homme. It is pretty much what you probably all think it is, and so it's up to you of whether you want to go for it or not. But if you're a really big fan of that style and you're a fan of what Dan recommends, I could even safely say to you that it's probably a blind buy, and I mean that. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Price. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.